what's going on, guys? So today we're talking about another episode of the Yugioh Penny Stock Market Watch. I will say, these skills are busted. They are definitely busted. I don't know. You guys play speed duels? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm obviously doing more deck profiles as I get more decks. I would like to do speed duel deck profiles, but I'm not gonna do a video and then get like 5 views and stuff like that. So if you guys would be interested in that type of thing, let me know. I'll probably just do one just to see what the response will be, because I think speed duel format is just the way to go because it's just cheaper. It's not that it's slower, but it's just, for me at least, it just feels more fun. Like I get to play more than 4 or 5 turns, right? And the thing is too, this isn't really the best format to complain about the meta. The meta is actually in a really, really good spot right now. But I like speed duel format as well. I don't see what the problem is with liking the current format, because I do like the current format, but as well as speed duel format. So I will be posting speed duel deck profiles. You guys just let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see that, right? But Solemn Judgment's making its way up. I think these 6 are the same. Get your Ashes while you can. Get your Parallel Exceeds while you can. Get your Judgments while you can. I should get my Nibirus because I have all of those cards. I should get my Nibirus while I can because this is probably going to be a $5 card soon. It's very consistently in the meta. We don't talk about Space Rock too often because I don't think it's that good of a card. I think it's a good card. I don't think it's a great card. I think there's some times where this card wins a duel, but those times don't happen very often. I actually have a video about like the worst good cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, but the main reason I think it's a great buy is because there are people who think it's really good, right? And so for those people, we're gonna buy our Nibirus at 4 and sell it to them for 7, right? Because they think it's, I need my Nibirus or I'm not gonna do well. So I think a Nibiru is a fantastic buy right now. Branded opening is interesting. I don't think I would touch. Let me see if anything is. Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't know if I would touch the branded stuff right now. Branded has consistently been inconsistent. I mean, just look at the last month. I mean, it's only $1 fluctuation, so maybe that's another reason why it has that. And it's really good right now. But the time to pick this up was when the Bistials were everywhere. I don't think the branded stuff is that great of buys right now. But I did say too, this was a couple months ago on a Market Watch though, that it does look like a very fun deck just to mess around with, because there's a lot of different things you can do with the fusion summoning mechanic. We've kind of seen that with Tier Elements is sort of taking this on like a new style of play, because you can do so much with the fusion, because there's been just so many fusion monsters, and we're still getting some, right, like these cards, which I don't think these cards are generic, right? Must be summon by banishing, right? But at the end of the day, the branded stuff's expensive. I don't think it's that great of a buy. This card's interesting because it's only there's only one of these. I mean, Dogmatica has been around for a while. Despia is going to be around for a while. 2500 attack. It doesn't really do anything though. But what it could bring out, it could potentially be very solid. And it is one of those cards that just snuck under the $5 mark, which is why it's on this list. So I would wait. This is $5. This is under 5. I would wait to see the market kind of fill this out a little bit. If you can get it for $4.50, or especially like $4, I think you should pull the trigger. But I don't think I'd go much higher than that. You know, I know I do the regular Market Watch. This card might come up, but I don't think it will. Like I said, it's branded stuff, and the card doesn't really do anything generically speaking. Like, I have seen that card ran in Tier Elements. I have seen that card ran in like certain things, but it just doesn't. It's another good but not great card. And if you're looking to pick up branded or Despia or Dogmatica, you probably should pick up that card. as well. But if you're just looking for generically good cards, like this card, for example, you contribute one monster. Your opponent can activate monster's effects this turn. When this card destroys opponent's monster by battle, you can target spell card, add it to your hand. That's actually really not that bad. Especially because all you have to do is obviously summon this during your opponent's turn, which is the main way people use this card. And you're in a great spot. And there are a lot of ways to get this card out during your opponent's turn. And obviously it's creeping up. How old is this card? Really? Interesting. So you'd have liked to have gotten it back then. Is it FOMO if you get it now? I mean, this is $3 for near mints. The mod plays for some reason are $3.25. I don't know what's going on with that. This actually kind of scares me. I don't know why this person's selling it. This feels like this person's selling it for a good amount less. But hey, I will say, and I don't know who Wallen Collectibles is, but for me personally, Cards of Connor, I got to get on this, but I recently put like 20 of my cards to see what would happen. I made 20 of my cards the lowest amount possible, because you know how some people, if you guys have shopped specifically at someone's store, you'll see like the lowest they'll go is a certain number, right? Like let's go to Kevin Corp, for example. I'm sure if we go to Kevin Corp, like I said, I'm Cards of Connor, but if we go to Kevin Corp, and I'm sure there's a low spot that they're willing to go to. This is a little weird because the market price is unavailable, so we'll skip ahead. I think it's 49 cents. Because that was my guess. Because on the first page I saw, the lowest number I saw was 49 cents. I think it was a giant rat or something like that. It was 49 cents. I don't know if it's going to load. And yeah, so Pendulum Rising, Felf. No, Giant Rat, $6.99. Jeez. The Tricky. Like, those cards, that's the lowest this person's willing to go to sell. I mean, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you got to pay. The stamps alone are going to cost like 25-50 cents, right? And this person, I believe, has a deal, if we can go back far enough, to this thing. Yes, it has free shipping on orders over $5, right? So if you get 11 things from Kevin's Corp, like this included, or do you just get this and like 5 other things, you could get free shipping, right? So that doesn't really cover the stamp or the envelope. So sometimes people will do that, but then what people will do is like what I was just talking about with this, which is they'll randomly have like a fire sale, and I'm just trying to make all my cards be the lowest so they could just be gone, because I have too many cards. You know, it's kind of like an everything must go sale, right? And maybe that's what Wallen Collectibles is doing. So just because it is a little sketch that the next near mint limited is $3.47, and that's $3, and that person has 0% feedback with 602 sales. That's a little sketch. Like, the market price for this is clearly $3.50 or higher, and this person's selling one near mint limited for $3. But not everything is too good to be true, right? Some things are actually just the way that they are. Maybe the person's just trying to get rid of it. Maybe they pulled it in a pack, and they're just trying to make their money back. I don't know. But because I was having this discussion a few months ago with someone who goes to my locals of like whether or not you get, like, do you care about seller feedback? And they were just saying, no, I don't. I just get the lowest one you could get. I don't really see what the issue is. And that's honestly that's not a terrible idea. That's not the worst way to go. Because we like to see these lightning bolts, direct seller, gold star sellers, right? But just because this person doesn't have either of those things doesn't make them a bad person to buy from, right? I was just using Abramax as an example. I didn't actually want to. I think Abramax is a good buy, I will say. At less than $1, that's kind of crazy. We could talk about Abramax for a second. I was just using Abramax as an example. The Megatins version, actually might also be a good buy. I can see this being over $5 soon. And what is interesting is this card's been out, I mean, the 2020, I think it's 2019, Dark Neo Storm 2019. I have no idea. But it's been out for a while, right? It's no secret. But it still sees decent amount of play. And, you know, Boral Sword kind of power crept this, and then Access Code Talker kind of power crept this. And Link monsters aren't really super popular. Right now, like, they're really, like, I think the best Link deck is Mathmech, like Cybers Mathmech or whatever. I think I'm not 100% sure. I really don't know what the best Link-based deck is. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. I believe it's Mathmech, though. Like a Cybers Code Talker Mathmech. And this card gets ran in that. It doesn't really get ran in non-Link-based decks. Sometimes it does, but usually it does not. Usually if you're running a generic Link 4 monster, it's going to be Access Code Talker, right? But this card still does see a lot of play. So I think that we should get off the non-penny stock version. But I think both versions are really good. This version for sure. This version feels like you could get, you know, or that person I was just talking about, or this person selling 95 at 89, right? You could just get, I mean, honestly with this, what I would do, I think 6 is the magic number. Oh, it's over 50. One second. I can't read. 50. This person's over 5 though. This person's over 5. Perfect. So with them, I think that's the case with like the direct by TCG players. It has to be like over 50. But like we go over here, for example, this person, Turtle Rock Game. I bought a lot of cards from them before. Gold Star Seller. We go over here. We view the card because I accidentally added this. We get rid of that, right? And so now, instead of, because see, so right now it's 570. If we only did 5, and you guys have probably played this game before, right? You only did 5, it's 574, right? So that's what I would probably do if I were to get this card, get 6 copies of this card for 570, not pay that 570, you know, not pay 74, not pay more money for shipping than a 6th card, right? Just kind of pro tip from me. You guys probably already knew that, but just in case you didn't, you know, just try to always be manipulating those $5 marks. And because I said, it might seem really like, duh, like why would I not do that, you know, to you? But I said on the last Market Watch, a lot of the cards I have been selling are under $5, and people have just been buying 1 or 2 copies of them, you know, and that free money, you know what I mean? Like free money for you if, you know, you bought. You know, look, let's say you're in the exact same situation. It's the same cards, Avermax, right? You bought 6, 570, 95 cents each, 570 for all of them, and then someone buys all of them for 95 cents and pays shipping, right? And now I understand you have to ship it so that, you know, those costs kind of go out there as well, but you could put yourself in a situation where you make your money back just by selling it at the exact amount that you bought it for, because you were able to dodge those shipping fees, right? Just something to keep in mind. It's little, but little adds up a lot, you know what I mean? It's like, do you pick pennies up off the ground? It's like that type of thing. I feel like we've looked at Sword Soul a good amount. Sword Soul has consistently been a very solid strategy. Just got a bunch of reprints, and so did Baron, right? So actually, let me take a look. Now that Baron's gotten the reprint, let's see if there's a full Sword Soul deck online, or at least the core plus. I always forget that that's a thing. Plus Baron. So this is 130. You do get Shen, the Tenny stuff, but you don't get Baron. I don't know if I would pay, and you only get 1 Mo Yi. So, but shout out to them for having it as a picture, so that's cool. So we can just look at it and know we don't want it. This is rough. This one's interesting. It's pretty high amount in shipping though, so I don't love that. As we go back up here, you're looking at about $50, I think, for the Sword Soul core. This is interesting. $24 bid amount. We've talked about bidding before. Sometimes you might be able to get something for real cheap, but there's no Mo Yi. So no. but it's a popular strategy and it's a relatively budget strategy. So there's probably a lot of desire for this. I mean, this has everything that you're gonna need, minus the tennies, minus Baron, but it does have like DP Fusion Destiny for some reason. I don't know if it has targets. It does have targets. Okay. I don't know why that's in there, but that's an interesting thing though. Like this, even though it's missing Baron, even though it's missing the tennies, because this is like an older version of Sword Soul, which was running Predaplant, Verte Anaconda, and Fusion Destiny. This isn't that bad of a buy. You do get Desires, you get a decent rarity of Harpies, you get the full core, right, which I really, really like, and you get Ecclesia, you even get Protoss, which is probably never coming back, you get a bunch of the Synchro Monsters, you get generically good Synchro Monsters like the level, like Dragite, Stardust, I think that was even a higher, that's a secret rare Dasher, you know what I mean, like, it's just like little things like that, makes it not a terrible buy, even though it's 110, let's see what this is. This keeps happening where, okay, so I see what it's doing, but only one Ecclesia, 3 Long Young, Kaijus, lower rarity Desires, and no Moyi. Is Moyi like expensive? I mean, I see Emergence, but I feel like we saw Emergence in a lot of these. Is it Moye? I just said Moye. Is it Moye? Moye is kind of up there. Moye has kind of been making some moves. It's no longer a penny stock. I thought it was still a penny stock. It's no longer a penny stock. And that kind of goes back to why I think it's a good buy right now. If you are able to get a Sword Soul core, especially if you're able to trade for a Sword Soul core, it has consistently been meta. I think this is probably its last run, like its last go around. Like once it gets power crept again with the next set of support, another structure deck, another ban list, another set of things will happen. Sword Soul will probably no longer be meta, but it could linger, right? It could linger for beyond 2023, beyond 2024. And so on. But we've talked about Sword Soul a lot, so I don't want to talk too much about it again today. Let's talk about Droll. Have I ever featured Droll in Lockbird? Because for me, I've mentioned this comparison before, where I view Droll and Lockbird very similar to the way I view Nibiru, which against certain decks, it will win the duel. And against certain decks, they just go, oh, I don't care, right? So, that's weird. I'm taking a look at all of these. These are the penny stock versions of Droll and Lockbird, trying to figure out which one is the best version to invest in, right? So first things first, what brought us here, right? So that, I believe, was the Tactical Masters version, right? Yes. Second things second, who has the least amount of listing amongst the penny stocks? So it does appear that amongst the penny stocks, it's close, because I think it's 106 listings of the premium gold rare version versus 106 listings of Star Strike Blast versus 107 listings of the structure deck. I used to have this version. I don't like rares at all. I've mentioned my disdain for rares on multiple occasions. I just wanted to mention it again. I don't like the rare rarity. It's literally just common, but you can't read the name. But so this is the one. So that's what's interesting. Is like all penny stock versions of Droll and Lockbirds are actually not bad buys, right? Because you have the 3 lowest listings, right? And then you have the one that's selling the best, right? So which one do you really want to go for? So obviously price matters. The card does the exact same thing. But I will say out the gate, there is 1 common and 2 rares, right? As a Tactical Masters rare. And I think I've seen this. I don't think this one looks as bad as this one. This is an alternate art, which I think kind of puts it in a different category. But let's try to find some near mints with all of these. I don't know why someone don't. I mean, I always say, spend your money how you feel. I just don't know why you'd buy damaged. I don't. Like, there's light plays, mod plays. I would maybe consider a mod play if it was really cheap, but heavily played and damaged, I don't think I could do it. But like I always say, spend your money how you feel, and like I just said too, plays the same. But if you got a Droll and Lockbird with a big rip down the middle of it, and your opponent activates Sky Striker Engage and adds a card, adds a multi-roll, and you play Droll and Lockbird, it does the same thing. So, spend your money how you feel is I feel like really great advice, really sound advice. But when we look at the near mints here, this is for Tactical Masters, his most recent version. This person, I could have sworn it was like 18. That's a decent amount. It's going to be harder to buy that out, 24. But a lot of ones, a lot of fives, a lot of twos. A lot of people don't have a lot of versions of this card. It could very easily start to sneak up in price and get to this spot. This is probably the most expensive penny stock, but it is also the highest rarity penny stock, and it is an alternate art. Which is why I would say this is probably the best buy, but it's also the most expensive, right? But expensive isn't always a negative, because it's like, and I'm not trying to bash dollar stores here, but it's like shopping from the dollar store. If you get a rake or like an umbrella, I got an umbrella one time from the dollar store. It cost like $6. It didn't last. I got rained on twice before that thing broke, right? Whereas I got an umbrella from Meijer, because I live in the Midwest, so I go to Meijer. It lasted like, I've had it for like 2 years. So like, you can buy, for this metaphor, you can buy $15, $7 umbrellas, and spend whatever the math is on that. I don't know, over $100 on just some umbrellas. Or you can buy one $25 umbrella and be fine. Right? So you can, and how this pertains to what we're talking about now, is you can buy, we'll go back over here, these 3 copies at $21.24 for the Tactical Masters Rare. Which I don't even think that's the cheapest one. I think the cheapest one is the Structure Deck one, because nope, it's not the Structure Deck one. And it's not this rarity either. This is the cheapest one. So you can buy, those 3 for $124 and have a good time with that, but you might have a tougher time selling it, right? Like, just because we're talking about penny stocks doesn't always mean that the cheapest version is the best version to buy. The maximum gold is the highest rarity amongst the penny stocks, and it's an alternate art, right? So that in and of itself, you will hear people say, if you go to locals and regionals enough, I like the alternate art version of Droll and Lockbird. Hey, cool, I just picked up a play set. Do you want to trade for it, right? Versus, I like the alternate arts of Droll and Lockbird. Hey, cool, I just picked up the cheapest version available. Do you want a play set, right? Because nothing, and whenever I say this, it's usually when I'm talking about Starlight Rares during the regular market watch, of like, nothing is worth anything unless you can sell it. Like nothing is worth, this isn't worth $219. It's only worth $219 if you could sell it for $219, right? Or what was the lowest? I think it's $199, right? But it works for Starlight Rares, but it also works for penny stocks too, right? Like, yeah, it's really cool that this is worth 50 cents and you got it for 40 cents, but if it doesn't have that value, and when a card like Droll and Lockbird, that's why I'm having this hesitation, right? Because when we look at some of the other penny stocks, for example, and I might just be rambling at this point, but I feel like I'm making a solid point here. And the first page isn't really the best example, because the first page has all really, really good cards. So we'll go to the second page. Like Fusion Deployment. Like, you kind of just need whatever version of Fusion Deployment that you can get. It's really not that big of a deal if you don't get the best version of Fusion Deployment. Or Artifact Lancia. There's a lot of versions of Artifact Lancia. Just get whatever version. Sign It Mining. Just get whatever version. But Droll and Lockbird is sort of like a very historically popular card that people would want to spend more money on a higher rarity of, right? So that's why I personally think the best version to get is the Gold Rare, but the best selling one is the Tactical Masters one. And the reason why, it's the cheapest, right? So that kind of counters everything that I just said, but that's the beautiful thing of this. So let me know what you guys think. What are the best cards under 5,000 less that you are looking out for? Let me know in those comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button, show your support for the channel, subscribe for even more content. But most importantly of all, have a good day.